All right. Okay. So here's you guys might have heard that about this whole thing with Batman and anti-aliasing. I don't know how many of you have followed that, where the game did not support anti-aliasing on AMD GPUs. It only supported anti-aliasing on NVIDIA GPUs. And there's a lot of stuff out there that people have said about it. And I just want to set the record straight on exactly what happened with the timelines. So basically, we've gone through this before. Unreal Engine 3 does not support anti-aliasing in the DX9 mode. Batman was only using the DX9 version of Unreal Engine 3. There is a whole bunch of GPUs that support DX9. Unfortunately, DX9, first of all, has a variety of formats which are not required to be supported. And on top of that, anti-aliasing on these formats are not required to be supported. So as a developer, you basically have to go and do all these queries and say, what are you? Do you support this format? Oh, if you have this format, do you support anti-aliasing on this format? So the problem then becomes, how do you get anti-aliasing in a game like Batman? And the answer is, well, you have to go and do all this work and figure out exactly what the config you're running on is. The problem was that, as we mentioned before, the same thing happened with Stardust. Stardust was a little easier because it was not as complex a game. They were using only these one format for which it was easy to do some workarounds. Batman was a far more complex game. It's a shooter. And the workarounds that we had simply wouldn't work. So we decided, and the developer agreed that since AMD does not support anti-aliasing in this format, let's just not have that because it would just not work.
By the way, the developer did invite AMD to implement.
Yes. Now, here's the missing part that everybody has missed in this whole debate. AMD claims today that they support the anti-aliasing in the format, but they did not have it in their drivers till this date. This was the driver that enabled, finally, anti-aliasing in this format. All the work we did to put the anti-aliasing in Batman was done in April. Okay? Because by July, the game was pretty much wrapping up.
We were just fixing bugs.
It was in bug fix mode. They were not going to make any changes to the source code. And like I said, we were doing things like making people miss their vacations because of last minute stuff. So, so this talks about exactly what it was. So this patch integration was April 29, whereas AMD supported MSAA in this format, and this is exactly the format, and this is used for the motion blur, which is really critical part because Batman is moving around. So there's all kinds of motion blur effects. And those are that format support, and you can go try it out yourself. You can go download their driver from prior to July 22nd and see if you can. It's actually pretty easy. There's in DX, you get this viewer, CAPS viewer, which tells you exactly which format supports what kind of, whether it supports A or not. That's pretty much it. That was the story. Of course, that was incredibly, amazingly spun later on with all kinds of stuff that, and by the time they finally contacted the developer actually they did not even know of the existence of this game, as far as they could tell, because remember, our 5 or 6 of our guys are on site at Rocksteady pretty much all the way from February through August. AMD did not send one guy. They didn't even know, we believe they did not even know of the existence of this game until the demo came out. And that's when the first time they pinged the developer, which was roughly in July. And then they insisted, after the game had shipped, that somehow we had made this happen. I'm sorry, that's not how it went down. And I just want to set the record straight on that.
But we don't want to deal with it anymore, basically.
That's right.
That's
moving forward. So we decided, all right, we're just going to submit this patch, like I mentioned before, to Unreal Engine 3. Let the Unreal guys deal with the issue, because now we have given them the full code that can go to all the developers, and it's up to the developers now whether they want to support A or not. And essentially, we have all the logic for different modes where anti-aliasing would be required. It's a fair bit of code that we wrote ourselves, but we would rather have it done the right way. And so this will be part of the next, hopefully, once it's approved by Epic, because they have to check whether our code is working or not. So they'll go through that, and hopefully it gets approved, and then it will be rolled out in their next Unreal Engine update.
I mean, so this is, in particular, like this work we've done with the Epic Engine, this is just, we didn't have to do this, right? You know, frankly, it's just, we're going to solve the problem for everyone, and not only just for games, but for every potential Epic customer. So, and by the way, Epic has a huge number of customers, right? So we're just going to solve the problem for everyone. Everyone will get the benefit. We did all the work, and that's just another example. We're doing all these things for the industry, you know, tools and classes and papers and panels and all this kind of stuff, just to try to keep moving the ball forward, to keep advancing the industry, right? There's no direct money that's happening for this, right? It's just, like I said, it's just we believe it's the right thing to do. And it's a little bit disappointing that, you know, the Batman Antialiasing was misconstrued, I guess is the way to say it.
How does it spun?
Okay.
All right, so
I think I'll talk about these, and we'll probably bounce back and forth. So another game that you guys are probably aware of was Mirror's Edge.
Are there any questions?
Any questions about Batman or Antialiasing or that whole deal? Like I said, the actual Antialiasing portion of the code was done in April. ATI didn't get their drivers with the right service formats done until the end of July. Short of us rewriting a bunch of code when we were already canceling people's vacations, there was nothing we could have done, right? Now, in November, you can spin a yarn that, oh, well, you know, disabled, well, because the driver that shipped in July after we'd done our coding would have worked. Of course, if we would have known that, we could have fixed that. But, I mean, AMD's not usually in the business of telling us what they're doing 3-6 months away. You know, if they want to do that and give us a roadmap for that stuff, that'd be cool. That'd be useful. I don't know.